Come on now. Y'all already know what this is. First things first, God did this. Don't get mad with us. I'm your humble host, your man, your myth, your legend, Eric Knight, and we got the one man and the only man that can check you into the Heartbreak Hotel. That's the Heartbreak Prince himself. Look, I'm not gonna lie, this week for WWE actually was pretty good. I was actually pretty satisfied for forget about stuff that happened. So let's go ahead and kick it off with the 2 hours and 30 minutes of fire for Monday Night Raw, baby. Now look, man, I ain't gonna lie. Raw was had a little bit of a interesting start. My man Zach, what we got? National Cinnamon Roll. Oh, I'm getting me one today. That's a fact. I'm definitely getting me a cinnamon roll for today. You got me, Zach. Appreciate it with the national, just a national day. Every time, letting us know something great. But
Thanks, Zach. What's up, man?
but the way they started off Raw was a little interesting, man. I ain't gonna lie. They started it off with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Okay, they was kind of talking about a few things, talking about the friendship. They kind of replayed some of the stuff that happened last week with Io, with Rhea Ripley, and what was going on with Asuka and with Kyrie Sane. I mean, this was a little interesting here. I mean, but the thing was, man, I mean, honestly, Rhea saying, you can trust me, I'm your friend, trying to tell Io Sky, you can't trust Asuka, you can't trust Kyrie, you can't go back to them, look what they did. Then Io tries to start crying, all of a sudden the third walks back, but that doesn't work. Asuka and Kyrie come out, they try to attack Rhea. At that point, Io Sky tries to save Rhea. That doesn't do much. Asuka actually at that point hits Io with the mist, with the poison mist. Oh yeah, it went crazy. So at that point, Io Sky's just on the floor. And Asuka and Kyrie are pretty much at this point celebrating. But honestly, Kyrie really tried to get Io back, and that just didn't really work out in my opinion. Like we'll see what happens with that. Then we flash forward, man, to this match with Dirty, Dom, and Rusev. Now this was interesting here, okay? Because good old Dirty Dom try to use the classic way of using the title, classic what he would do with Eddie Guerrero. What he's been saying. He's the best Guerrero. He's the greatest Guerrero of all time, greatest Mysterio of all time, greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. Hey, Dirty Dom, I feel you. I'm to the point where the title part didn't work, but to the point where the ref's back was turned, and gave him a little good old low blow with his leg. So Dirty Dom still gets the dirty pin with the hands on the tights. 1, 2, 3. Gets the dub. I ain't mad about this. Crowd went crazy. It went crazy. Yeah, honestly, yeah, it really was, Bland. I agree. I really agree with that, man. Then we flash forward, man, to this situation here with this. Look, honestly, okay, Kyrie's trying to talk to Io Sky about the whole thing, trying to tell them to come back. We're gonna be a family again. Apologize to us. I mean, come on. How you gonna tell Io to apologize to this? I mean, it just looks crazy. I don't really know, man. To the point where Io kind of yelled at Kyrie, but then she left the picture with all three of them together. I said, man, look at that. Talk about good old times. Then we flash forward, man, to this right here, Bailey, man, walking around with Lyra Vicarious. Now this was interesting, man, because we know last couple of weeks they've been doing this whole thing with them. I ain't gonna lie, Lyra, Loki been kind of killing me with this. But you know what? Bailey's kind of been doing this whole schizophrenic, 3 different shades, 3 different sides of Bailey. I'm kind of liking this. But she said she wanted Lyra's support out there. Lyra said, nah, it's cool. I'm gonna just do my own thing out here. But then actually, we flash forward to the match, okay, with Bailey and Raquel getting the dub over Bailey. But at this point, Raquel, okay, and Roxanne Perez beating the hell out of Bailey. But then at that point, who comes out? That girl, Lara Valkyria. Okay, all right, she comes out, helps Bailey, and to the point where Bailey actually kind of flipped the switch. Went from regular Bailey to going crazy Bailey. Yeah, honestly, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, no cap, Blaine. I feel the exact same way. It's just a lot of things that's just a little off. I don't know. I don't know if we should let them cook or let them boil. I don't know what's going on right now. It's insane. Okay, but even to the point where Bailey even got happy, crowd went crazy. She said to Lyra, "Get up, you idiot!" I said, "What is going on with Bailey?" But we'll see what happens with that. Okay, then we flash forward, man, to Jimmy and Jay. Man, look, Jimmy, okay, telling Jay, "Look, I'm gonna be out there for LA Knight. When he has his match with Kofi." You know what I'm saying? And all this stuff in the first. Because they also had a match going on later on that night. But Jay was saying, look, this is what we gotta do. This is family. Jimmy's been seeing that side of Jay, and Jimmy ain't been feeling that lately. So we'll see what's been going on with that later on. We flash forward, man, to I ain't even gonna lie. This was still a really good match with LA Knight going up against Kofi Kingston. LA Knight getting the dub on Kofi. Honestly, with the New Day, I mean, how could you not love what they're doing right now? It's just great work right now. But I mean, still in mourning. But yeah, great match coming from LA Knight. But I still wonder, what are we doing with him? All right, what are we doing with LA Knight? We'll see what happens. Then we flash forward to Becky Lynch, the man. I should have worn my Becky Lynch shirt today. That's what I should have did. Man, look, this was interesting. You see her out here, okay, with the Alphabet, formerly known as Alpha Academy, out there trying to, first of all, trying to talk to Becky. Becky's not even hearing none of that. You know, trying to say, oh well, AJ still has her number on. Yeah, man, Becky wasn't hearing that. Becky was not hearing that at all. Okay, laying the smack down and just doing what she does best. But then to the point where she kind of walks off, sees Seth, looks at Seth. Seth says, "Yeah, I got to go out here and I got to go do this by myself for me." And he's going out there to meet Cody, and that was a little interesting. Yeah, man, I feel you, Bland. They definitely are clowning LA Knight, man. He really should. He should have a title, if not the title by now. But we'll see what happens with it. Then we flash forward to Seth and Cody, man. Look, this was very interesting of a thing. Oh, actually, I forgot about that. Even before that, I forgot Dirty Dom. Okay. Oh man, Dirty Dom and Penta. This was interesting here. Okay, if y'all didn't catch this, of course, who didn't catch this? If you were in the US, of course, if you didn't switch that VPN, you didn't see this during your commercials, but you're seeing this during the commercial break. But Dirty Dom out here talking, telling Byron he's the greatest Mysterio of all time. Penta's still coming out here trying to challenge Dirty Dom. Dirty Dom's like, look, dude, I've beaten you already. It doesn't matter. Dirty Dom has no concern about Penta, but I guess he doesn't love Penta. But hey, I still love Penta. Then we flash forward to Seth coming out there talking about him and his story with Cody, how he still hasn't gotten the actual victory on Cody, how he's 0-3. And I thought it was interesting, told that story, told the story about with them and Mania, really kind of paved the road for what we're kind of looking. And I ain't talking Cody Rhodes. Because then Cody Rhodes comes out, and of course, at that point, he's coming out, he's telling Seth, I thought we were friends, I thought we were better. We're both the champions, but both of our paths were different getting to the championship. And Seth really wasn't trying to hear none of that. And I understand that from Seth. He ain't trying to hear that. He's on a different type of vision. Okay. But honestly, it's to the point where I think this could be a very interesting story for Cody and Seth. For this to be a crown jewel, I don't know, man. This is something you really could have saved for Mania for one going for the title. We'll see what happens. Then we flash forward to, oh man, back to this. All right, so Rhea and EO, I'm not gonna lie, we're going back to this again to the point where Rhea is still talking to EO, telling, Io like she's gonna be there for her, but she tells Rhea that it's gonna be her and Rhea going up against the Kabuki Warriors at Crown Jewel. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, honestly, this could be one of those matches where it could have been for Raw, but this could be a banger. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie here. Then we flash forward. Please get that blue dye out of Kyrie, man. They had that on there for so long. We got Dragon Lee and AJ Styles, okay, coming out there, kind of talking about what they're kind of be doing at Crown Jewel. And of course, AJ Styles comes out, talks about how he's got a match with John Cena, how he's going to be beating up John Cena. Great to see and hear that again from AJ Styles. But then, Dragon Lee's out there. And of course, they have a match against Los Americanos. And this was interesting. But yeah, AJ Styles and Dragon Lee getting the dub. AJ Styles, going crazy with those Styles clashes as always. But this was a great match. Not a big surprise coming from here, but yeah, it's great to see El Grande Americano and Los Americanos actually have a faction. This is actually kind of crazy. Then we flash forward, man, to Stephanie Vaquer, La Primera. Talking about what she's going to be doing with her, going up against Tiffy Tom and everything's going on with her and Crown Jewel, getting the Crown Jewel champion. Honestly, at this point, we know it's going to be Stephanie. I don't have no doubt in my mind Stephanie Vaquer, La Primera will not be the one winning this. Okay, let's just get this over with. Then we flash forward because you see Tiffany. Tiffany's trying to really convince Stephanie. I mean, at this point, I'm not convinced. Tiffany, you're not going to beat Stephanie. It's just not happening. It's not going to be happening on Tiffy time. I'm sorry. It's La Primera, the devil's kiss. Then we flash forward to the main event, okay? When we had the Usos going up against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed in a tornado tag match, which was insane, okay? And this went crazy to the point where actually where Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed actually had the upper hand on the Usos, but somebody came out. Somebody that we know is just only the one and only tribal chief himself, the OTC, Roman Reigns, comes out, wreaks havoc, comes with a steel chair, beats the hell out of Bronson Reed, beats the hell out of Braun Breaker to the point to help to even up the odds, and the Usos actually beat Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Now, interesting thing. After this, okay, after this, because this is where it gets a little interesting. All right, look, after this, Roman talks to Jay. He grabs Jay. He says, "Look, I told you. I told you. I told you this was going to be. Forget everybody else. It's about you. It's about us. It's only been about us." I said, man, look at Jimmy. Jimmy just looking like, oh man, see, look, he getting in his head right now. See, this is what he was talking about. And this is what's going to be happening with him and Jimmy. And honestly, this was interesting here. But this was the finish right here. Oh, I ain't gonna lie, man. I ain't gonna lie. Raw was it had a few moments. Wrestling wise, the matches were great. Okay. Don't put nothing past the wrestling. The matches were spectacular. I do agree, my man Bland. Thank you for watching us and checking us out as always, man. Good to see you on there. But yeah, man, honestly, yeah, it was just a lot of stories that still kind of waiting for the wheels to turn at this point. And I say that because we look at matches, we look at some of these storylines like the Bailey and Lyra thing. Okay, I'm not opposed to it. Like it's not bad, but it's got some time. We got to take some time with that one. But yeah, that one. I mean, we're talking about the one with Io and Rhea. That's kind of been. I feel like we're kind of dragging that a little bit, just a little, just a touch of love, a little
A
bit.
little bit.
Hey, okay, but nah, yeah, but yeah. I mean, we're stretching this a little bit. Pause. I mean, I just think we gotta kind of move on from this storyline a little bit with Io and Rhea and the whole Kabuki Warriors. Kyrie Sane looking like just a child that doesn't really know who to go for. She just wants the family to be together again. That's all she's worrying about. That's all she wants. I get it. Kyrie's kind of just a woman in the middle. She just wants it to be a family. I said, all right, Kyrie, I get it. Stephanie and Tiffany, not bad. I see what they're trying to build with this. A lot of stuff going on for the women this week on Raw. Honestly, Dirty Dom doing Dirty Dom things, going crazy. Like what he did. The crowd is going crazy for him. He's always getting that pop. Love what he's doing there. Yeah, again, LA Knight. I love to see how he's getting the dub, but what are we doing with him, man? Come on, this is LA Knight. Yeah, get the dummy button. Get something for my man LA Knight. I mean, honestly, what you got, my man? Yeah, yeah, I feel you, man. It does feel a little weak when it comes to the vision. I feel like right now, and I've said this before. It's kind of one of those things where it feels like the authority, but in ways, it's different. But it's just this is what we're seeing every week, and I need them to change something. They gotta switch something up. Add a new. I mean, we got a new member. We got Becky. So I mean, at this point, I'm not gonna tell y'all to add another member. But I mean, yeah, come on. I mean, we got to do something to switch this up. I love the fact that we're seeing Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed every week. They are great wrestlers. They are killing it right now. But we got to change something up. I don't know. I don't know if we got to change up some of the wrestlers. We got plenty of young talent out here. Young talent on the roster. What are you doing? And come on, Trip, you're killing me with this. Come on. Hit a creative. Okay. You got to do something for us, man. It's okay. It's all right, because you know what? We're going to talk about Sean and them in a little bit because he's been killing it. But let's talk about Raw for a second. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Yeah, for the most part, you kind of hit everything on the head when we're talking about the show this week. Um, the biggest takeaway for me with Io and Io and Oscar then was the fact that Io spent the rest of the show died in that blue mist that was sprayed on her. And I was just like, look, man, y'all need to let this lady get in the shower and get cleaned up. But I don't. This story to me is something like gives me anime vibes. I don't know. It's like this story of like a friend turning evil, and you got the friend in between that doesn't know like who to serve, and it's that's the type of vibe I get from it. And they tried to have the heartfelt moment with the picture of them together when they were all friends, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I think they got to just go ahead. I'm actually loving what Asuka is doing as far as her character work and being the heel in this situation. But I still think they just struggle to really figure out what they want to do with Io Sky and how they want to keep her relevant in a time like this. And so they keep kind of just throwing her in all these different situations. Like, last week she's fighting against La Primera for the WWE Championship. This week she's back in the story with Asuka and Rhea. And so I don't know, creative, they will have to figure that out. With Bailey, I'm not really feeling the multiple personalities of Bailey, because I have no idea what they're doing with this and where this is going to actually go. And I can definitely see this being one of these things where it just eventually is dropped, and we just they kind of just move on without any explanation as to why Bailey was going through these phases. At first, when it was, and I thought she was kind of leading back to Happy Bailey, and we were going to get the inflatables again, and I thought, all right, cool, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, like you said, the jury's still out on it. I haven't really felt it over the last few weeks. Love what they did here with Jimmy and Jay. I do like the friction that's going on between the two of them. Jimmy's kind of Jay's kind of losing his mind a little bit because it is part of it. You feel like they're getting ready to make them a team again, but then the way Jay keeps acting, it's like, nah, I don't see them getting back together and being a team again, because Jay he's all over the place. It's like he wants to be singles, he wants to get to be relevant and get his title back, but I don't think the WWE has plans to keep him in the main title picture, especially not with what's going on with Seth and Cody and LA Knight and CM Punk and all of that. So I don't know how they really will fit him back into the main picture here. And then if you have Roman Reigns returning, that's another person that's just kind of back into this mix here. And so, it's going to be interesting to see like how this works with Roman Reigns returning. It's almost like they're getting the original bloodline back together, or at least is going to start heading down that path. I'm sure once Roman and them rap with Street Fighter, he'll be able to be back on television a little more often. But that was the most interesting part of Monday Night Raw, was seeing Roman Reigns actually come out. 'Cause it was, for me at least, it was a surprise because I didn't expect him to be there, or at least not to show up, on a night like this for this situation. But one quick thing, I want to say thanks to Bland for checking this out, and Bad was dropping comments. But something he said that I definitely agree about, the whole Bronson and Bronson Reed thing. I do think that what has happened with them, with this faction of the Vision, the problem is, for me, I think WWE, they struggle with the whole faction thing and how much to kind of book them and promote them. I feel like the last two factions that they actually got right were the was the Hurt Business, but they cut it short. That had had a lot of potential, and then of course the Tribal Chief, and the way they kind of booked that whole faction, that whole thing. With the Vision, everything feels very like sporadic. It feels like it's all over the place, and part of it to me is the feel is kind of how they do their shows. Like, they have like the storylines that they have for like their main title PLEs, but then in the middle of nowhere, you got to do something for Crown Jewel, or you have to do something for Night of Champions or whatever. And so now it changes the story, because you have to forget about like stories that have been developing or building, and now you got to insert this vibe or this friction, to try to drum up, anticipation for a Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes. And it's like, so now what does this mean for the Vision? Like, what do they really focus on? What is their real goal? Because I really don't care about Cody Rhodes facing Seth Rollins, for the
Crown Jewel champion.
The Crown Jewel Championship. Like, it doesn't do anything for me. First of all, we don't even see the Crown Jewel champion. As far as I know, I don't even believe they get to keep it. I think it stays.
Yeah, they literally just put it in the case.
They put it back. Yeah. So it means, it doesn't mean anything. So the friction that you're trying to build and the story you're trying to build kind of throws the Vision off, because they're trying to have this heat, or your main, your leader of it is trying to have this heat with Cody to drum up, something for the, like they said, the Crown Jewel Championship. So what does that leave Bronson and Braun? Like, what is their mission? What is their goal? What havoc should they be wreaking right now? Because Cody doesn't have a faction. He's not part of a faction. So there's no other people that they can really go at, mess with, whatever, to kind of like drum up a good story with it. And so you just leave them like constantly beefing with Jimmy and Jey Uso every single week. And it's like, yo, we need to do something a little different here. Or take them off. Like, just have little backstage segments with them just talking. Sort of like what they would do with Roman Reigns back in the day. It would just be him and Paul Heyman. And then, the Usos will be in there, and they would just kind of be plotting on what their next thing would be, or who would be their next victim, or whatever. We don't have to have some type of, knockdown drag out every single week with Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and the Usos. Just feel like it gets stale after seeing that week after week after week. Sort of like what was happening to me with Rusev versus
Sheamus.
They were doing that week after week after week. So I was hyped this week to kind of see Rusev facing Dom, for the championship.
First time, yeah.
So, yeah. And it was actually a good match. And also Dom did it on his own, which was really cool, because I like how Judgment Day came out and then they turned around and went back, kind of leaving Dom in this position of like, oh, y'all just gonna leave me to do this on my own? I got to stand on my own 2 feet by hook or by crook. He did it, and it was actually good. It was a good match. He did a good job. So yeah, I was like, I like this. I like the way they kind of built. They built Dom in this situation right here, where you can see him eventually getting that confidence of, well, I really don't need y'all in the Judgment Day, and he can start talking that that dirty Dom talk, like he likes to do with the Judgment Day, because he's just proved, I don't really need you. I'll figure it out on my own. Like, that's a true Eddie Guerrero type of trait, like character that he just had. And that's why he can say, I'm the greatest, the greatest luchador of all time, that type of thing, the greatest intercontinental champion of all time. So I thought that was a good thing that they actually got right. But let me hop here, because my boy Bland is dropping some bombs, and I want to make sure I give him the love he deserves. And it says it seems that like they got momentum, and then yeah. And I think with this right here, I believe he may be talking about like with Bronson, with Braun and Bronson, or Jimmy and Jay. But then also something early he mentioned, we can talk about LA Knight, who keeps seeming like he's getting momentum, then he'll take a loss, then he'll start, so it's a whole start stop thing that's going on.
Yeah.
With them, where some of these characters and these people, we don't kind of seem to really know where we're going and what we're doing. And that's the feel sometimes you get, where it seems like things just kind of thrown together. Like, as much plotting and planning as you feel like the creative team for WWE does, you would think that they would have a goal or path they're trying to get to, and are working like with those specific characters to get there. But it's like 1 minute Sami Zayn is the hot thing, and you think they're really building for Sami Zayn to be the next champion, and to show this whole come up story. And then it's like he just disappears, and we don't know. Then it's LA Knight. He keeps talking about, he's gonna be the next champ. What he talked to the trash he talked to Kofi Kingston, about, Kofi's like, hey, look, there's only one of us here that's been an actual champ. LA Knight, low key, he gave him a low blow. He was like, well, that'll never happen again. I said, oh. Yeah. I said, man, I still think they did. Look, it's cool that Kofi won. I still just feel like they kept my man skipping down to the ring as the champion. And I'm just like, I don't know how you can go back to him and take him serious as a champion. But and then the squash match with Braun just said it all. But this is just little things like I said, that they just they battle with in WWE, with like really like knowing where they're going and like who. Because if you ask me right now, I thought the next main title person was CM Punk, was going to be the story, like how it's developing, getting eventually for him to be the champion. But again, you keep throwing LA Knight in here, you can keep throwing,
Jey Uso,
and it just keeps going. But last one, he said, Rusev would be an afterthought. He will appear on AEW.
Wouldn't be surprised.
That's a cold piece of work right there, Bland. That's a cold piece of work. Look, and there's nothing wrong if Rusev goes back to look, nothing wrong with it. That's fine. Because sometimes, we as we learn, the grass is not always greener on the other side. And the good thing about what we have now is the fact that these wrestlers can go back and forth between promotions, and kind of have this opportunity. Whereas back in the day, it was like WWE or nothing else, really. You can go over to New Japan, but that's just a different audience, different crowd. You had TNA and Ring of Honor, but they were kind of struggling promotions for a little bit, and so it really was WWE, and so you kind of had to deal with it. But in this case, where you have AEW, and then you have these partnerships with like TNA and Ring of Honor with these different wrestling platforms, I think it really, like, at this point, you can see wrestlers go back and forth all the time, because I thought about it. The funny thing is, I thought about that the other day, or just yesterday, when I was watching, and Aleister Black came out for a championship match, and I was like, when he first came back, they was really pushing him, and now, you might catch him every few weeks on the show or whatever, but what are we really going to do with Aleister Black? What are we really doing with him? But that's my whole diatribe on Monday Night Raw. Like I said, that I think you're right and spot on. One more thing too. Well, a couple more things. They're starting to kill the El Grande Americano story for me. They're starting to ruin it. I liked how it was when it was just multiple El Grande Americanos. Now they're starting to give, just popping up. Now they're starting to give them names, and it's like, all right, no, because we're separating. Like we're making the El Grande Americana thing. I don't like it.
Just anonymous.
Just keep it anonymous and keep it going. Like, y'all, they started saying this is not El Grande. He's wearing an El Grande Americanos type of uniform or outfit, but it's whatever they named the two little luchadors. And then the main one is El Grande Americana. I just liked it when it was like they were all El Grandes. All of them.
And now I need the original El Grande Americana.
Now we need to back up. Who is the original El Grande Americana? That's what I need to know.
That's the only thing. But
but Blaine, it is a good time to be a wrestling fan, and have these two promotions is key. Like I said, we talk about this on Nighttime a lot. I love this age of wrestling that we have now, because I feel like one promotion gives me something that I really enjoy and really like from wrestling, and then the other promotion gives me the other thing of what I really enjoy and what I like from wrestling. And so I feel like it's a win-win. I'm winning, either way. I can throw on some AEW, listen, watch how they actually wrestle, watch the spots and the amazing like acrobatic things that come from that, the crazy street fights and brawls, and see people poked and stabbed with forks. I mean, you just get that feel, that craziness, see people set on fire, just crazy stuff that you used to see back in the day, like during like the Attitude Era of like wrestling, of what was happening in WWE. And then you could switch over, on another night, and you could get WWE's like production value and how they to kind of tell their stories. Everything is very clean. It's a lot of branding. It's a lot of branding within it, but it's just a different vibe. The way they tell their stories, and they do every now and again. They stumble upon some serious nuggets, because some of my favorite matches this year was the triple threat match at WrestleMania that I thought was a banger. The triple threat match with the women as well was a banger. I love the heel turn for or the turn for the Oracle by Paul Heyman. I thought that was just magic. The way they did that, man. Yeah, they get some, they can hit on some stories from time to time that they get right. The ladder match this year for them was really good. For trying to think of all the daggone teams, it was DIY, it was Street Profits, all like that was a banger. So like you get good stuff from these promotions, and I like the fact that you can see wrestlers in different ways. Like you say, like you have an Andrade, a WWE version of Andrade, then you got the AEW version of Andrade, and the way that they, that wrestling style and all that stuff.
Don Callis.
Don Callis is up, man.
Don Callis.
But all right, sorry, E. Let me
you're good.
Let's get back on track here. I appreciate you, Bland. Thanks for all the comments, man.
Yeah,
and a lot of them, like I say, you hitting on stuff. I'm in agreement. Like some things they got to get right.
Y'all are cooking. I gotta let y'all cook. But we talked about some of the great things that happened with Monday Night Raw. Now it's time to talk about my man Sean cooking it up with NXT, baby. Man, I ain't gonna lie. NXT was definitely hitting on a lot. Because I ain't gonna lie. Okay, you started it off with that man, Ricky Saints. Okay, Ricky Saints was out there talking about how he's the new NXT champion. Okay, and JC Jane got to talk her talk, saying how she's gonna be the captain for NXT. Now she's been here, she's been doing it. Now she, Ricky just got here, and all this, that, and the third. But then Ava comes out and she says that both of them are going to be captains for both teams, for the men and the women. And then it got to the point where a couple of people started showing up. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just one or two, but a couple of heads popped up. Okay, we seen Mike Santana come out. Okay, we seen Santino come out. Okay, it started getting really crazy, even to the point where they was talking about how they're going to start picking their teams for later on that night. And that is what definitely happened. But it's going to get even crazier once we get a little bit farther down the road. Because then we flash forward, okay, to them even showing that Kalani is going to be Lonnie, all right, is going to be on Team TNA, because she's the new Knockouts Women Champion, man. This is going to be so crazy. Okay. Hey, shout out to my girl, Lonnie, man. You're killing it. All right. But this was interesting, man. Now, this really did kind of turn some heads and raise some eyebrows. Like, oh, so now Kalani's now not on NXT? She's now with TNA? Granted, I get it. You got the new title, but hey, I get it. You go where the money at, Lonnie. Do what you got to do, okay? Then we flash forward, man, to this banger of a match. Jada Parker going up against Lash Legend. And honestly, again, This was honestly one of those matches I think we should have had for a pay-per-view, man. This was really a banger match. They could have had this for No Mercy. I think we would have been satisfied with this, honestly, over the speed match. And I'm not saying the speed match is trash, but yeah, I would have loved to see, or maybe, I'm just saying, man, when Jada and Lash is up in that match, man, up in that ring together, man, these women put on magic. But Jada Parker getting the dub over Lash. Honestly, it was a great match. But this definitely gave Jada Parker some momentum for what was going to happen later on tonight. I can't wait to talk about this, man. Then we flash forward to Ego. Okay, he was out there trying to challenge for his title. Now, the interesting thing with this man, Ego, Ethan Page, man, look, I'm not going to lie. All right, he was talking some stuff, trying to make a challenge. He said, who's going to come out and challenge first? First, what happened was we seen it was somebody that came in the screen. Okay, we seen some shoes. We said, "Who is this coming out the SUV?" But we should have known who it was. The only man that can do it right. That man, Mustafa Ali from TNA. Man, this was great. Okay, now he gave a valid point. He said, "Now I remember this too," and I was like, "Man," I said, "Damn, way to jog my memory, Mustafa." But honestly, what was crazy? He talked about how he actually had a North American title opportunity. And before that even happened, they told him they released him. No longer needed for your duties. Have great and best endeavors. I said, man, come on, Mustafa. This is crazy. But he said now the curse ends. The curse ends because next week he's gonna be facing Ethan Page for that title. And I said, I can't wait to see what happens with that. Then we flash forward, man. Man, Josh Briggs, man, I ain't even gonna lie, this man pisses me off. Going up against Miles Bourne. Interesting thing, Miles Briggs tried to use his chain, okay, to beat Miles Bourne. Crazy thing, Matt Cardona, okay, Long Island Zone, my man, came out, helped Miles Bourne, grabbed the chain from Josh Briggs. Miles Bourne gets the whole dub, actually defeating this man, Josh Briggs, to qualify. Okay, it was it was a team NXT qualifying match, and that man won that match. So hey, you see what happened. Okay, my man Miles getting the dub. He's on team NXT. Then we flash forward to man, come on, another qualifying match. And this happened earlier. You know what I'm saying? Lola was trying to tell Jason she should be on the team, you know what I'm saying, over Fallon. Fallon's like, nah, I already got that spot. And they said, you know what, we have a qualifying match. Lola getting the dub over Fallon Haley. Honestly, this was another banger of a match. I mean, you can't lie. Lola killing it. That woman is the Latina. All right? Stop playing with her, man. She's killing it. Then we flash forward. Man, look, I ain't gonna lie, man. Look. I told y'all about that. I told y'all on the review we did on No Mercy, and I was telling y'all about this for weeks. That Lainey Reed has been sus this whole time when it came to Fatal Influence. Lainey Reed admitted, okay, it was her that took out Jasmine Nix, which of course we know that Jasmine Nix has released her contract with NXT and WWE, so we get that. And then she also admitted that it was her, the hooded figure. The hood figure that literally came and attacked Lola Vice and helped JC Jane. I said, man, come on. This is crazy. Told y'all this was happening. So now Lainey Reed is about to be part of Fatal Influence. So this was interesting here. Okay, but she admitted to it, even through the freaking mask, and said, yeah, it was me. I said, come on, Lainey. I knew it. I knew you was down for the cause. Stop playing with her. Then we flash forward. Man, to this banger of a match, you can't tell me these brothers wasn't going crazy. Javon Evans, okay, and Leon Slater going up against the Culling, Sean Spears and Nico Vance. Now, honestly, this was a banger. Okay, I mean a banger of a banger. Look, you want to talk about crazy? Javon Evans trying to hit the double cutter, okay, on Nico and Sean. They both duck. Okay, Leon cuts through, hits back, and then literally hits a cutter. Then right after that, Javon hits his own double cutter on both of them. Both of them getting the dub to the point where Leon Slater hits that 450 swanton. I mean, that move is beautiful. And literally getting the dub and getting the pin on Sean Spears. I mean, this was a banger. I mean, this wasn't even a qualifier. This was just a match. This was just a match. And this was just insane, man. I can't wait to see Javon and Leon go crazy. Okay. Then we flash forward to this whole situation here. Okay. Team NXT, Team TNA. Now, what was crazy, what kind of pissed me off, man, they killed it, man. What happened was TNA had this whole invasion. They were starting to beat the hell out of people to the point where NXT tried to get everybody rallied up. And then that was happening during the commercial break. I said, why y'all doing this during the commercial? We should be letting the cameras go. Get this on the TV. Granted, it was picture in picture, but this was something I needed to hear. Okay? Next time, don't do that. Y'all killed me with this. But this was good. Okay? Trick was trying to say he's the real leader of NXT carrying two brands. Ricky said, nah, that ain't happening, partner. Okay? I'm the NXT champ, and this is how it's going to go because I'm the top dog. I said, okay, Ricky, talking that talk. Okay? But this is where it really gets interesting, okay? Now we're out here picking teams. Now we're out here saying who's on what team. Okay, on Team NXT, we had Trick, Hollywood Trick. Okay, we had Miles Bourne, and we had the young OG going up against on Team TNA. Okay, we had Mike Santana, we had Moose, we had Frankie Kazarian. Okay, and we had Leon Slater, which I thought was crazy. For the women, okay, we had JC Jane, Jada Parker, okay, and this was so good. Lola Vice, okay. This match is good. These matches are gonna be crazy, okay. For the women on TNA, we had the formerly known as the Iconics. You know them on TNA, Mara Sade, and I thought it was funny how Lonnie tried to even say it was who would you? Jakar, Marsha Sade. I thought that was hilarious. I said, this is good. All right. This is going to be a great banger, but this ended up happening in chaos. Okay. It went crazy to the point everybody's throwing hands. I should have had my man Jay on here today. Should have asked him how chaotic was it being there because that was crazy. Everybody's throwing hands. Everybody's going crazy. Sean even came out, looked at, just came and looked at the chaos. I said, Sean, this is you. This is what you cook up. And this is the finish right here. Man. Crazy, man. Sean, you over delivered. I will give you the chef's hat 1,000,000 times for this episode that you did, man. This was great. This is great. I loved everything about this episode, man. From the start to the finish. Okay, how they set up everything for the Team NXT, Team TNA, getting everybody out there. All right, I love how they did the whole switch up with my girl Lonnie, man. Because even when she was walking out with TNA, they was like, yo, Kalani just switched with the red jacket. I said, yo, you wildin', Lonnie. But I get it. You got to do that. You win that title, that's the team you won, man. That's how it goes. I get it. I loved it. I loved everything about this, man. Jada Parker going crazy with her and Lash. I love what they did. And honestly, probably my favorite match to watch that night, Leon Slater and the young OG going crazy. Man, I cannot wait to see those two go crazy in the ring, man. They about to go dummy, stupid. Bound for glory. Leon Slater and Javon Evans. Shout out to my man Joshy, man. He wanted to see that. You got it. This is gonna go crazy. Yeah, man. But this was something that I love. I love what they're doing with this. Honestly, I want to see more of this. I want to see more TNA, not just do what they do with just with NXT, but I want to see them do this with the main roster. Let's turn it up. Go crazy. Survivor Series is right around the corner. Let's really make it happen. You want to make Survivor Series go crazy? Come on, to hell with War Games. I want to see the Survivor Series, the traditional 5. That used to be one of my favorite pay-per-views. Okay, let's do that. Back to the brands going crazy with each other. Need to do it. You got what, 4 or 5 brands? Put them on a whole tag team. Put it on a whole five team elimination. I'm with it. I'll watch it. Come on. Why not? Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT versus LFG versus Evolve versus NXT. That's about 5 or 6 I just named. Why not? To hell with it. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Yeah, bonker show. NXT, I mean, I only have a few little gripes with the show. Because it was realization, kind of setting in for me. But to start with it, the whole like, who's team NXT, who's team TNA, Trick being out there trying to act like, he's still the man of both brands, having to be put in place by Ricky Saints is hilarious. He's out here with the NXT title, with the TNA title upside down. I know he repping NXT, but it was just the fact, it's like little things like that. Like, because I was actually surprised that he wouldn't be on the TNA brand side because we already had Ricky Saints. But part of what the realization and what was sad here was that, at the beginning of the show, when they said Ricky Saints and your girl was going to be the leaders for the for the NXT teams, I thought the ruler should have been here. Like, this is where the ruler would have been needed.
Yeah,
like
man.
this, he would have been the perfect person leading and going into battle, into a battle like this and of this nature, because he is the ruler. And so just the fact that he was not there at all on the show, it's heartbreaking for me, because that is my guy right there. That's my man, 100 grand. Love Obafemi. And so I was hoping that maybe he would come out at some point at the end when they were doing this, and it never happened. So it was like, man, it's done. But yeah, no, this show itself was just great from beginning to end. There was no surprise here. It's NXT. They generally do a phenomenal job with their product, with their television, show, and as far as being very just they keep things on just a very focused and direct path. And you always know like where you're heading and what's going on. I love the fact that we got Jada Parker and Lash Legends. Again, I love these two ladies, and I like the fact that Jada actually got a win, even though it was over my girl, the bougie bully. But still,
the big
these two ladies are just great. It was great seeing Lola Vice get a victory and be able to make it, for a battle of this nature. This feels huge. It feels big. I'm excited for this because, I really want to see like how this all plays out. If Trick will be loyal, is he going to be the one that's going to tilt the scales? Because, it's all about Trick. It's all about Trick Willy Wonka. And right now you got Ricky Saints in here, and, and Ricky's trying to, exert his dominance. But I just feel like something here is going to happen. Something funny in this relationship that's going to tilt the scales one way or the other. And so, yeah, I'm excited for it. This is good. This is great setup. Shawn Michaels did a phenomenal job with this. And then my last thing is I'm actually pulling for Mustafa. I think I'd like to see him, because I want to see WWE lose a title, to a different brand, like that, because they haven't done it yet. They've taken every title, or most of the titles from TNA and had it on their brand.
But
they have yet to lose a title. And what better person to do something like this than Mustafa Ali, who we know can go in the ring, and would be, I think, a good option for them to have somebody that would be able to win their title and take it to a different brand.
Yeah, definitely, man. I would hope for Mustafa to win that one too, man. I ain't gonna lie, that would be really interesting. Like, I would like that. Honestly, in the way that title's kind of getting carried right now, why not?
Yeah.
Let that title go a little crazy on TNA.
Yeah.
It needs it. But yeah, man, they killed it at NXT, man. I ain't gonna lie, Javon. Hey, man, look, hey, Big Rob, shout out to you, man. Your son is killing it, man. He
gone too. Javon Evans gone too, because he wasn't even part of this either. Like,
well, no, he was. He still was. He on the team. He on the team.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying though. Like, he should have been the champ in the situation. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people have been saying that, and I agree because we've been saying that since like April. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll
And
see, man.
I think it's part of because I think he's going to be part of the SmackDown roster.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about that. We talked about the great stuff that happened with NXT. So let's go ahead and talk about the best part of the end of the week with Friday Night SmackDown. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, man. SmackDown. SmackDown to SmackDown. I'm not gonna lie, man. Lately, last few weeks, man, SmackDown has been a little, I don't know, man. I don't want to say cut and dry, a little stale. Some weeks have been better than others. Some segments have been better than others. It was great to see the man with the magic boot come back last week. Always great to see Jacob Fatu. This week, we had some better surprises actually. And one surprise that we're going to talk about in a little bit, but they kicked this show off with good old Cody. Cody talking with the Vision, talking with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. I mean, we was talking about this for my God. I mean, we don't never stop seeing these guys here, man. But just won the tag team match. Of course, we're gonna see that as the main event. Set that up for that. Cody talking about what he's gonna do with Seth. This, that, and the third. Nothing too different. Just kind of a build up for Crown Jewel that we're trying to wait and see. So we'll see what happens with that. Then we flash forward to my man Mello. I ain't gonna lie. We thought, it's funny because, me and Heartbreak Prince before, yesterday after we was doing nighttime, SmackDown was on. We was talking. We was like, you know what? Hey, it'd be nice if the ruler came around, but it wasn't the ruler. It was him. Carmelo Hayes, man. And I thought, you know what? Maybe this is the time Mello gets it. But nope, that didn't happen because The Miz came out and, yeah, man, I mean, come on, just literally attacks Carmelo Hayes. To this point now, setting up another feud. I guess we're seeing something happen with that. But of course, Aleister Black comes out. Aleister Black comes out and accepts the challenge from Sami Zayn. And this is where it got interesting because, of course, Damian Priest comes and interferes with Aleister Black's match, which I thought, okay, cool, that's fine. But, of course, Aleister Black loses to Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn gets the dub, so we'll see who will be the next new opponent for next week. Then we flash forward to this. This was actually a pretty good setup. Interesting, man. NXT, man, we're seeing some people come up slowly. Sol Ruka, yet again, another week. Her and Zarya defeated Chelsea Green Alba Fire. Now, they set this up before. Of course, we know they've beaten them before at NXT. Of course, J Movie Mania was there when it happened. But yeah, this was another good match. Sol Ruka hitting that devastating Soul Snatcher, okay, on Chelsea Green. But it was a great match. And honestly proving proving where they should be at. So this is going to be a little interesting. We might be seeing some new people to the roster soon. So we'll see. Maybe, maybe not. I do not know. Then we flash forward. Man, all right. So let's go ahead and talk about this segment real quick. It was with Tiffy and with Stephanie Valkyrie. Honestly, a contract signing. I mean, nothing too crazy. Again, Stephanie Valkyrie, you're getting this dub. Right after that, okay, Julia, all right, attacks Tiffy time. All right. And Kiana James tries to tell Stephanie Valkyrie, look, I can give you a deal. I can get you even to newer heights, and I can get you to the Crown Jewel champion. I can get you to looking like Julia. I thought, I said to Julia, I looked at Julia, I said, you know what, Julia? You're looking like a superstar. And that's what Kiana James said that Stephanie could be. She said, you're a star, but I can make you a superstar. Look at Julia. I said, you know what? You're right, Kiana. Julia does look like a superstar. But, honestly, that didn't work to the point where Tiffy Tom honestly gets her revenge, pulls Kiana James, the whole nine, 75 here, beating the hell out of Julia. And that's pretty much just the end of that. And nothing too crazy. Then we flash forward, all right, to Let's really get to the real nitty gritty. Okay, my man Javon Evans and Ray Phoenix beating Los Garza. This was a banger of a tag team match. Honestly, this was great. Nick Aldis talking to Ray Phoenix and Javon. Javon always, kind of getting bouncy. Being backstage, I thought this was great. Again, young OG, you're doing your thing. Big Rob, we're proud of your son. Y'all are killing it. But yeah, this was great. Getting the dub, and I thought it was great seeing Javon hitting that super cutter from across the ring. Okay, but yeah, this was a banger. But also, what was interesting, Nick Aldis telling Javon Evans that he has a future on SmackDown, and to keep his phone open. So we'll see what happens with that. Then we flash forward to this situation here. This was interesting, man. This was funny. With Damian Priest, talking about why he did what he did with Aleister Black, that he's going to make his life a living hell, and that he wants to declare a last man standing match with Aleister Black next week. Now, it's funny because Kit was truly trying to, man up to Damian Priest. They didn't really do much. Damian just kind of pushed him back into the wheelchair and just pushed him down the hall. That's a little funny segment, I guess, for Damian Priest. Semi slash, serious, I guess. Then we flash forward. Oh man, I ain't gonna lie. SmackDown was something else. To this, the main event, with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Hey, these men did double duty. I ain't gonna lie this week, as always, what they've been doing. Beating Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. Honestly, this wasn't a big surprise. They've been kind of getting the dub on these guys, man. To the point where, they beat the hell out of Randy and Cody is trying to help Randy. But then, of course, how did they win? Because, Seth Rollins came and, interfered and he helped. Of course, you know how Seth is. He's out there doing his thing. After the match, he's looking at Cody. Cody's looking to help Randy. Paul Heyman is telling Seth, don't you do nothing. Stay there. Don't go anywhere. He's baiting you. I'm telling you. Seth wasn't trying to hear that. Seth, being Seth, not listening to his oracle, as you should have, runs in and tries to curve stomp Cody. That doesn't work. Cody comes out, flips that over, and he hits Seth with a Cody cutter. I'm sorry, with a crossroads. I mean, honestly, to the point where Seth is looking down, and this is the finish right here. Just not gonna lie, SmackDown, it was all right. I thought SmackDown was better than Raw. I think starting off with some of the stories we got on SmackDown make a little bit more sense. We're seeing what's going on with The Miz and Carmelo. All right, cool. I think for me, I like to see what was going on with my man Javon. I like the fact that he's getting that shine, man, that spotlight on SmackDown. Shout out to you, Javon. You doing your thing. Yeah, I mean, I thought that was great. I think the rest of SmackDown, though, I mean, we're just kind of doing the build up to Crown Jewel. That's just really what SmackDown was. I mean, we had Stephanie and Tiffany. All right, cool, contract signing. All right, whatever. They did the same thing with Cody and Seth. All right, cool, whatever. If I really looked at SmackDown, majority of it, I mean, just the build up for Crown Jewel. And I mean, it is what it is. I ain't mad at it, but they had some nice segments. But yeah, man, I mean, honestly, just I think for the most part, yeah, I mean, seeing Sol Ruka go crazy as well. I think that was dope. And honestly, yeah, that's about it. I think seeing the NXT talent, man, just seeing them kind of just having their outbreak shine moments was really good. So, hey, shout out to the NXT roster, man. Sol Ruka, Zarya, Javon, y'all killed it this week for real. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Definitely the highlights of the night for me. Very similar. Seeing Javon Evans, hearing his possible call up for SmackDown. Excited for him. I was hoping, just based off our conversations you said earlier, that we would get the ruler for that challenge. Last night, but it was Carmelo Hayes, and so nothing wrong with that. Unfortunately, he took the skull crushing finale out there. And so we got Aleister Black. I thought they had a really good match. Aleister
Really
Black
good match.
put on a banger of a match. And then, of course, my second highlight, of course, is being able to have or see Sol Ruka in a ring. and then get a soul snatcher out of it. Great stuff. Again, it's one of these things with the vision. I don't really know what the vision is, but I think like they have to like I think they have to like slow down with them a little bit and just give them a better direction of what they're trying to accomplish or what their ultimate goal is as a group or as a faction. But like I said, I do think just thinking about it, I think it's just part of the fact that you have something like in the middle of like between pay-per-views like Crown Jewel that you have to kind of you kind of have to build up towards, and it just kind of changes like the trajectory of where where you would be going had you not have like Crown Jewel place in the middle right before like Survivor Series or things of that nature. So I mean, I understand they're doing what they got to do. WWE's trying to get that bag. They're getting a nice bag from from Saudi Arabia. So you got to do what you got to do. But it's stuff like this that's like I really don't see why this is I'm really just not into this story of
Yeah,
Seth and Cody.
and
I'm
this
really
was in
not.
Perth, Australia. That's what's so
Yeah,
random. It's just like,
yeah, yeah. So it's just it's just one of those things. I'm just not into this match. And I'm not saying that something can't drop in the next week or whatever that changes that, but it's just right now the buildup for it is to me it just feels like something you got to do.
yeah,
That type of thing. It's not like something you want to do or want to see. It's just something you got to do. So,
yeah,
but they like I said, the highlights for me, Javon Evans, Sol Ruka, SmackDown, I do feel has been a little bit more focused compared to maybe like a Raw, but yeah, it's just it is what it is.
yeah,
It is what it is.
yeah, yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. It's SmackDown's kind of it gives us what we can. It does
Yeah,
what it's trying to do right now.
yeah,
They got to figure it out.
yeah. And it's like it's usually like 4 matches. Like that's kind of like the last few weeks or it's for a while now, and that's why I say more focus. It's like you got 3 to 4 distinct matches that you're going to have throughout the night, and then a lot of like um, little stories or whatever
Segments,
sprinkled in, like little
yeah,
segments sprinkled in. Versus sometimes I feel like Raw, it can be all over the place. It's a little bit more chaotic. But yeah, they like I said, once we get past this, I'm just interested to see where what are we building to with Division and Seth Rollins. So once he's past Cody Rhodes, like who is in his sights? Is it CM Punk again, or is it Roman Reigns? Like that's what I'm waiting to see. Like who's the next big player that's going to be going for whatever championship between for Seth Rollins
yeah,
and Cody. Because I guess Cody, you still can do another story with you could still have the bloodline and him going, because it's Roman Reigns for so whatever. But I really want to see a Seth and Roman type of a feud.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's what I
agree,
want to see.
man. Yeah, because I always felt like they had so much like
Yeah,
chemistry together. It's just like
yeah.
the
Because
intensity, the
I like the
story.
story of Seth having his faction now with the Vision, and then Roman having the Bloodline, and we know that the two of them were formerly together in the Shield, and they both had the Oracle, and so I think there could be a good story there, and with Roman and if that's the way they go with it, but again, I know what it does for like CM Punk, but I still think you got a good story with CM Punk and Cody Rhodes that at one point thought they were working towards having a title match between CM Punk and Cody, but that didn't work because I remember they did a promo. I can't remember if it was on Raw or Smack. I think it was on SmackDown, where CM Punk told them we may be friends, but you're the people you're counting on maybe thinning out because as you carry the title for as long as you start to lose friends. I want to say that was the beginning of this year. But I wanted to tell you face to face that I'm gonna come to you like I'm not gonna do anything behind your back. It's gonna be me and you face to face when I challenge
Yeah,
you for it, that type of thing. And I thought they were going down that path to have a match between them because of their history, but it didn't work out that way. So I guess you could still go back and revisit that and have that type of match.
yeah, yeah. So we're gonna have to see, man, because I think that just like you said, there's so much potential when it comes to definitely with Roman and Seth with the Vision and the Bloodline. I think there's a lot of potential there. They might be setting that up for the War Games. We'll have to wait and see because it's
That would
kind of
be
like
nice.
if yeah, because it's kind of like if you already got the vision already set up and you're kind of getting the bloodline back together. And if you're doing 4-4, you got Seth, Braun, well, you got three. So even if you did the 3-on-3, which could still
Yeah,
be done,
yeah,
um, you kind of got your three, but knowing them, they probably don't want to do four. So they'll probably have another person, and probably might be Jacob Fatu, might be that fourth man. So we'll see what happens. But I don't know, man. They got a lot of stuff to kind of develop, work on, and we'll have to wait and see. 'Cause this is a period where it's gonna get a little stale, I feel like. And then of course, December. Once it gets towards December, it's gonna get
yeah,
real stale, and then it's not gonna pick up until about January. So
yeah. Right, right
well,
in time for the Rumble.
yep. Yep. So then I do feel like storylines will pick up, but they gotta make this interesting now to get us ready,
Yeah,
And I know they can. They gotta get back into their bag. They've been playing. They've been playing a lot. Oh man. But as always, please make sure y'all follow all of our social medias. Y'all already know what this is, man. Facebook, we on that. X, we on that. Instagram, we on that. TikTok, we on that as well. We appreciate all the love and support y'all been giving us. And honestly, man, look, we tell y'all all the time, like, subscribe, set those notifications to turn on so you always know when we're dropping something because we're always going to keep giving you that content the exclusive way. Come on, man. You already know this, man. Come on. Oh, man. But, we talked about some of the, you know, decent things that happened on Monday Night Raw, with Bailey and Lyra and, of course, with the Vision. And we talked about some of the great things that happened with NXT, with Sean cooking up, with Jada Parker, Lash Legends, the Young OG, Lonnie, and Trick Willie Wonka. And, of course, Ricky Saints. Got to talk about him. And, of course, we talked about some of the things that happened on SmackDown, with Seth and Cody. And, you know, that's
Seth
about
and
it.
Cody.
Yeah, that's it. So, as always,
NXT short a week for
yeah,
WWE.
definitely. Yeah,
That's a short
100%.
week.
As we can definitely say, NXT definitely had the show, the best show this week, 100% stamped. Sean, you outdid yourself as always. Never a shock when it comes from you, man. Keep killing it. You're doing your thing. But as always, I'm your humble host, your man, your myth, your legend, Eric Knight, and we have the one man and the only man that can check you into the Heartbreak Hotel, and that's the Heartbreak Prince himself. Because we are the exclusive Knights, and we always ensure that we are the best there
Best
is,
there
the
is, the
best there
best there
was,
was,
and the
and the
best that ever
best there
will
ever will
be.
be.
And to ensure that your nights will
Will
never
never be
be
the
the
same.
same. Y'all be good, be blessed,
Peace.
never stressed.
Thanks for watching.